Hey everyone, the Bears have hit a home run with a recent move. The move I'm talking about is former top defensive line coach, now Chicago Bears defensive coordinator Eric Washington. And there was a recent interview that gives us some insight into why this is. It goes well beyond what was originally shared on his hiring. This is fully new insight here. And hey, as we wait for free agency and the draft, let's just be very clear about what we have and let's be able to appreciate it. So let's chop this up a little bit. GM Ryan Poles and Coach Flus were very clear about these recent coaching hires, citing a main qualification being that they must be exceptional leaders of men and first and foremost, great teachers. The qualification went way past X's and O's. The Bears' new defensive coordinator left a lasting impression on six-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Gerald McCoy, and he was super excited to talk about his former coach. This was during Super Bowl week, and let's chop this up. This is on NBC Sports Chicago, so if you want to check out the whole story, I would highly recommend it. They do great work. So let's hear from Gerald. Listen, what you're going to get is a teacher. McCoy, he's now an analyst for NFL Network. This was told to NBC Sports Chicago at Radio Row for Super Bowl 58. Continue the quote. A lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people in the NFL don't know how to play football the right way. They just don't. They don't know how to break down film. They don't know how to watch film. They don't know how to prepare for games. They're just talented. They're just better and better athletes. It's just, I can remember the play. Okay, let's go do this. So I think what he's saying is that so many guys come into the league with so much talent, but without the right coaching, they just never reach their potential. Sound familiar across the board with our team, right? Coaching matters more than we ever talk about. So often we just look at stats. We just label players as trash. That's happening right now. Reset and move on. Then we fire the bad coach and just on and on and on. And in the end, we never build anything, right? I'm just excited here. Right now, with these new coaching hires, I'm not sure we could have I don't think it's possible that we could have a better coaching staff here. Let's finally give the players what we have. Yes, that includes Justin Fields people. Let's give them the right coaching, which we've now done, and personnel around them that allows success as a team, not just based on one player, even if it's a QB spot. And we have the ammo, if we play this right, to do this. We've done that for the defense already, right? And now we've doubled down with excellence. By all accounts, Eric Washington is one of the most respected and arguably the best defensive line coach in the whole NFL. And he's now on our staff as defensive coordinator. I just absolutely love this, and you should too, right? We now pair him with Coach Flus, who will continue calling plays and is an expert at the linebacker position. And we still have Coach Snow in a support role, helping with scheming specifically for every possible situation presented in the game. I did a story on Coach Snow way back. And he serves in an advanced scouting role for each opponent. And he's also a man who's had previous pro defensive coordinating experience. Yes, calling plays as well. I mean, Coach Snow is an asset on our coaching staff that we don't recognize enough. And just when it comes down to it, we've knocked it out of the park with our defensive coaching staff. I think also coaches are so concerned about being fired or getting immediate results that they just throw players into the fray, right, before they're ready, and then they push them past their initial limits without enough preparation. Then they blame them when they fail, say the players are the problem, and then coaches without stability, they're their own worst enemy just out of self-preservation. It's necessary, but I'm glad we now have teachers. Every single coaching spot now, we have teachers. And this is yet another reason why I personally like the fact that Coach Flus was kept. This is beyond continuity. But on top of that, the emphasis on coaches hired now for the Bears, just being patient developers of talent and just good teachers. You look at Flus, he wasn't perfect last year, right? We can go into the reasons, but he's been given a little grace to grow as well as a coach. We give players time to grow all the time, but we never do that for coaches. I think it's necessary and it's the right thing that we've done that for Coach Flus. And the most important part of Coach Flus, he's a true leader of men, and you can't teach that. And he just has this team unified. So let's the other coaches coming in here, they can see that as a positive. He wasn't tossed out, saying, hey, This team is building something. We're behaving differently. And I'd just like to be part of this as a coach. The caliber of coaches we just hired doesn't speak of Flus being a lame duck at all. That's what a lot of media outlets were saying and are still saying. But instead, it speaks to a front office. They're determined to build it right. They want continuity across the board. And there's a desire to win now, tempered by a little patience, a sense of the long game. I'm not sure we've ever had that in Chicago. It just feels different. And I think we're going to see a lot of fruit from this. I mean, Coach Flus is not a lame duck. The front office is behind him. And there's a narrative when we are hiring coaches that we're not going to get the offensive coordinator we wanted. Guess what? We got the best one on the market. We're not going to get all these coaches because they fear that the head coach is not going to be there after this year if things go sideways. I think we've shown that we're a franchise that's concentrated on stability right now, concentrated on building something for the future. And I can't be more excited about the change. I also admire the ability to admit a mistake, right? We cut bait on Getsy, and that's a great thing. They appear to have learned from that. Waldron, he's a fantastic hire to compensate for that. And it's just finally a well-run organization. I think that's where we're at now. And also, that's where we're heading to improve upon that and double down. I just think it's great. So let's get back to it. More on Washington. McCoy, he continued with this. He's going to teach you the game. Like, okay, why am I looking at this? Why am I looking at that? Why are we running this? I was always taught this. If you know how to do something, you make a lot of money. But if you know why you're doing it, you sign the checks for everybody. That's a cool quote. And the Bears, they hired Washington as their defensive coordinator in January. They filled that role that was vacated by in-season resignation of Alan Williams. It was more than personal issues, but let's just move past. Then the defense. It took off when Coach Flus started calling the plays, right? And then while head coach Matt Eberflus will retain the defensive play calling duties, man, suddenly I can't talk. While Coach Flus, he retains the defensive call playing duties, right? Washington will play a crucial role in the weekly game planning. He's going to be a key cog in the development of young Bears defensive linemen, Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens. He's going to be a huge part of that. And I mean, his defensive line expertise is exactly what we need. What a great hire. And during his time with the Panthers, McCoy, he saw how Washington's ability to teach and break down info in easily digestible nuggets, how that helps spur the growth of Panthers star defensive end Brian Burns. I mean, he might be a player that we target in free agency this year. He's a coach who leaves players better than he found them, right? This is his skill as an actual teacher. He's relentless, too, in trying to get the best out of the men he's stewarding, and he builds them up. The good thing, too, he's also someone who practices what he preaches, and McCoy speaks into this as well. It's a lot of quotes, but I think it's just such good insight, so let's keep going. McCoy said they're getting a great teacher. They're getting a guy who question who's really giving the most effort, him or the players. And it's going to be him most of the time. He doesn't take days off. You're never going to have to worry about the coach. Is he going to show up in a different mood? I don't know what coach I'm getting today. He's high level at all times and he's on 10 at all times. And when I say 10, it's not like over the top. He's just always trying to win. He might catch you in the lunchroom and say, hey, on this play, what's this person supposed to do? He ain't even asking you about your job. It's about somebody else's too, because if the term you're only strong as the weakest link, well, if there aren't weak links, how strong can you be? He'd make sure that the weak links, they just don't exist. That's just who he is. And I'm so excited that he got there because he's one of those guys and they're going to love him. Washington joins the Bears with an impressive resume all together. This includes working under Lovie Smith in Chicago, Ron Rivera in Carolina, Sean McDermott in Buffalo. Yeah, he's been on our Bears staff before. In the Bears defense, we made huge strides under Coach Flus's watch last year. We led the NFL in run defense. We tied for the league lead with 22 interceptions. I think we can continue that. And the midseason addition of Montez Sweat, That completely altered our once lifeless pass rush, and we're going to add to that with another guy to bookend Montez Sweat, and I can't wait to see who that is. And now we just added to it with hiring this elite teacher in Washington. He'll continue this upward trajectory into something truly special here. I think we're in rarefied air here, and we have such an opportunity to build around what we have, and I'm so excited for it. You guys, thanks for watching this, and I know you're going to comment. I know you're going to like and subscribe, all of the good things, and I just appreciate you. Let's enjoy this off season. Bear down, and we'll talk soon.